think it'd be lovely to get started. So first, I'd like to welcome you all. Thank you very much for taking the time to join this webinar today, wherever you're joining from. I know that we're being joined by many from Jersey and the Channel Islands, which is where Comnexa hosts Channel Island user groups, in-person and virtual webinars as well. I think wherever you are in Europe at the moment, it's a pretty scorching day. So thank you for still attending, for bearing with us. So the subject today is to look at project and process management and how that's possible with both Salesforce and the Cloud Coach app. My name is Richard Van Nest. I'm Customer Success Manager at Connexa. I'm joined by my colleague Beatrice, who's going to lead a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And we're also joined by partners at Cloud Coach. We're in partnership with Cloud Coach. We're joined by Andy and Britta, who are going to be introducing you to the Cloud Coach app if you haven't seen it before. And whether you have or have not, they're going to be going through a demo of some of the top level, but also like latest features with the app too. I see there's a couple more joiners just coming now. So we're actually going to kick off with a video, which will provide an overview of one of the recent Cloud Coach projects that Connexa has delivered. And it answers the question, what does one of Connexa's customers think about Cloud Coach?
There was a lack of scalability to our systems.
It was incredibly difficult.
And these systems didn't interact very well with each other at all.
We're not standalone consultants that you hire for, giving a little bit of advice and then we leave.
tranScrip doesn't really work like that.
We are a business in a high growth environment. We're a pharmaceutical drug development company, and in order to support our growth plans, we realised that we needed to do some work with our systems to bring them together to create a single repository of data and enable us to have a foundation to scale up the business effectively.
We had a very old-fashioned system, which was very long-winded.
We're very conscious that as the business was growing, the administration work for running all of our systems was increasing as well.
Working with Comnexa has really enabled us to enhance the work that we do and the way that we manage our data and operations in the business.
Consolidating our tech stack around Salesforce has vastly improved the scalability of our systems and also how streamlined our systems are.
The ability to self-serve reporting at any time when people require it, to have information provided in real time. These were really key things for us and we felt very important to bring into the business.
The integration between Cloud Coach and Sage that Comnexa have helped us develop has been great for the business.
The main attraction of bringing Cloud Coach into our environment was the wonderful flexibility that it offers in terms of the way that we could set up our projects, the activities within our projects, and also the ease with which we could enable our users, our staff, to enter this information into the system.
It's already so much that we've gained from Cloud Coach, but there is even more that we're not even using yet. The list views and reporting capabilities out of Salesforce are just fantastic. The ability to look at and manipulate data that is live in the system has been great for tranScrip.
The interface to enable this reporting to be generated is very intuitive and very easy to use. So it really does enable us to access things that previously it would have taken time and effort to be able to get those very, very important insights.
I would 100% recommend Comnexa for all of your Salesforce needs. Everything you think the system can do is not even a scratch of what they actually can do.
The breadth and depth of experience that the team brought to our project was immense. And not only that, the attitude and the application and proactive attitude that they brought to things was fantastic.
There was a lack.
So I hope that that video gave you some insight into both what's possible with Cloud Coach and with a project with Comnexa as well. And I just wanted to give a shout out because I can see some familiar faces at tranScrip have joined us today. So thank you very much for being here as well. I'm going to now hand over to the Cloud Coach team for their part of the presentation.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As Rich introed at the beginning of all of this, my name is Britta Gettert. I'm an Alliance Success Manager here at Cloud Coach, and you might hear from Andy, my teammate, at the end for our Q&A as well. So really kind of to continue this conversation about project and process management, I want to open with a question, the idea that, okay, every company runs projects, and why aren't more of those happening in Salesforce, where you already might have other pieces of your business functioning? So really to extend that functionality with project management. So who is Cloud Coach and what does Cloud Coach do? Cloud Coach is a project management software that is built 100% native to Salesforce. And so with that, we look at your projects existing within your Salesforce 360 experience. And that might be allowing your projects to be initiated, for example, from Sales Cloud, where you're quickly able to generate, a timeline for those projects, understanding the tasks that happen, the people involved in those projects. Maybe you've got time entered that could roll up to billing and other pieces. You're also tracking the project health, and you have great visibility across the organization. As you guys saw with that quick video from tranScrip, they've been able to see some of those benefits. And so I wanted to show you a little more details of how that actually is happening in our tool. And so how does Cloud Coach do that? Well, we chose to build our software within the Salesforce platform. So that means we're 100% native, and we're leveraging all of the great features of Salesforce that I'm sure many of you already know and love. So we've got that trusted infrastructure, an open API framework, which means you also have extensibility and integration options, as well as that ecosystem of middleware and app partners and consultants like Connexa. So part of our benefit working within Salesforce is you have those domain experts. Connexa can help you stand up your projects and actually consult on how you'd like to set up those business plans, how it can be configured to really specifically meet the needs of your teams and individuals. And that's really kind of that main benefit, and it allows it to happen quickly, which of course then allows you to utilize all of the great features and tools of Cloud Coach, where those end users are able to quickly understand what work they're supposed to be doing and actually do it and action on it from within Salesforce. You also have those flexible project methodologies that really allow you to set this up in a way that is specific to your team and to the individuals and how they'd like to interact with any of their projects or processes, all within Salesforce. And because of this flexibility, we really have a lot of options for the use cases and business processes that might be applicable to utilizing Cloud Coach, whether it's going to be, a customer-facing process or an internal process happening within your business. But today we're really going to focus on the use cases within PSA and onboarding. So professional services, understanding exactly how your business efforts are tied to a project. Onboarding, so allowing a new customer to actually be up and running with your product or process. And of course, customer success, looking at that long-term relationship and how it can exist within Salesforce and Cloud Coach. So we're actually going to jump right into the product here for a high-level product demo. As you guys can imagine, there's a lot of different features related to this. So we're just going to kind of give a high level. And certainly if you've got questions about specific functionality or benefits, I encourage you to use that Q&A time or set up some more time with Connexa or ourselves so we can help kind of walk you through all of those benefits. But jumping right in, one of the first things you'll notice here is we are already in Salesforce. Opportunities are something your team might be very familiar with. They're using every day to understand your business pipeline. And why not also use it to understand what projects or what items happen after something or opportunities are closed won? So I kind of lead with that question, what happens after sales? And so we want to find out here. So we move this to closed won. And you'll notice here, I have a project template identified on my opportunity. So that lets me know, maybe driven by the type of product I'm selling or however it's been negotiated along the sales journey, we know exactly what happens and we can spin up a project that meets the needs of what was sold and what was talked about. Now, I will mention that this is just one example of where that project initiation might stem from. So specifically, post-sales, how do we have a seamless transition to our delivery team or onboarding team, or making sure that everyone knows what happens next and what it takes to actually deliver what we have sold. So we're really going to jump right into that product timeline itself. So jumping straight into Cloud Coach, you'll notice here we have a Gantt chart of this project journey. So you can quickly look at a high level that we've got different phases happening along our project, and of course tasks that will allow us to actually complete those phases and quickly give us visibility into what's happening, what's not. And of course, with this template that I've created, I know I'm creating the right project at the right time for my team. So really that benefit of a repeatable process and flexibility within that. I could certainly add a phase if things adjust. You could move these around or extend them, etc. So it's easy to interact and execute on that project. And then, of course, looking at the details of this project, if I was a project manager or someone responsible for completing those tasks, I can easily interact with elements of this project, viewing details, maybe adding a chatter to include, my manager, or attach a file related to this task I'm completing, or at a project level. Creating tickets, that's where we often capture some of those RAID items. Is there a risk? Is there an action item I owe? Is there something or a change request or something? Resourcing, so to understand who's responsible for this item. And then of course, time entry, which then of course could possibly have, a billable component or something we want to understand for burn down or tracking, etc. Now, within this project plan, we know not everyone is used to seeing a Gantt or wants to work out of it, but we do have other views of this in-flight project to quickly know, okay, maybe I prefer looking at this from a list view or a phase view, or even a Kanban. And now before I jump to a Kanban, you probably remember, well, this is a waterfall project. You see tasks happening in a specific order, they've got dependencies. We know that one happens before the other. However, some of our tasks have a Kanban board attached to them. So for this is our water scrumfall methodology. So you're able to understand, okay, within this one task, such as a sprint, I might have different cards that represent requirements for this onboarding project I've undertaken. And so you can interact with all of these in the same way, looking at details, chatter, time entry, etc. This side panel follows you throughout the product. So this is just kind of one example of how you have those great flexible methodologies within this project. Now, this project, of course, needs someone to do the work. So let's look at the resourcing area of this project. There's a lot of details here, and I won't go into them during this since we're really trying to stick to high level and those benefits. But understanding that, hey, this project was created based on an opportunity. So any information that my team spent time predefining in that opportunity can come over into this project as well. So on a summary level, you could quickly view any of those fields or understand the context behind a project. We have documents and meetings that you can use to track action items and, maybe a Salesforce shared folder or Google Drive. Those controls and tickets show up here. And now let's jump into resourcing. So when I created this project using that template, I have a pretty good sense of what it's going to take to complete this project. And I know I'm going to need a customer success manager, an onboarding member, a project manager, as well as someone to help with training. So I would like to assign out this work and know who's going to help me. So within our project, we're quickly able to pull back the individuals with this skill and then appropriately assign that work. So we can see here that Eleanor is quite busy. We can look at what project she's doing and quickly see that, oh, Tahani has plenty of availability, so we're going to assign that out to her. And you could quickly do that with all of the rest of these skills as well. You can also look at your resourcing from a task level and understand, okay, for my customer success manager, really that go live support is all they need to do. Great, I'm going to take that on. And you could quickly go through and understand who is going to be involved in all of these tasks. Now, we know that it's very rare that a project manager has just one project in flight, or possibly within a business, you know that there's a variety of different projects that are going to be happening at any time. And so we like to lean into that flexible project methodology, not only with the types of projects, but really understanding what details are going to be relevant for your projects. So I'm pulling up this cross-project view on the side here, and this is a list using list views that are native to Salesforce. And I've chosen this subset of projects really just to demonstrate the variety of types of projects that we can do within Cloud Coach. One of those might be a very simple project that doesn't require a whole ton of details or involvement. We've got a checklist project. And you'll also notice that the items that are here on this left-hand side panel have changed based on what is relevant to this team. And so you can quickly kind of click through and understand, okay, for this type of project, you know, my IT team might have a lot of details they need versus, you know, that checklist project you saw, you know, hey guys, quickly jump in and interact with this, or that onboarding project we started with, you know, there's more details. We've got stakeholders involved, more extensive resourcing that needs to be addressed. And then of course, just showing another project type here is a straight Kanban board. So we've got a lot of different flexibility of setting up a project that meets the needs of your teams and business processes, as well as you saw with those different list views and things like that, taking into consideration the individual preferences for how they'd like to interact with the exact same real-time data. So hopefully you can kind of see the benefit of being able to set all of this up, and it's all quick toggles. I am not a Salesforce admin. However, I am able to customize my project types because I'm enabled through our Cloud Coach admin, which as you guys go through an implementation with Connexa, they're really able to guide you on, best practices and understanding what your team needs and what is going to be part of your different projects. All right, so jumping back over to kind of a higher level view of projects, this is an overview of the projects that are in flight based on my current list view. So I'm able to see, completion percentages. I can take a quick look at project health. And all of this can really be configured to meet your business processes, maybe with automation and extensibility from there. And then, of course, jumping into what we kind of talked about previously with that Sage integration, the idea of running your project financials and invoicing as an extension of Cloud Coach functionality. So I pull up this project as an example of financials that are housed within Cloud Coach. So you can understand the project time that was entered, and this is a completed project. So we kind of have a good sense that our expenses were more or less what we expected, or benefits. And as you know, along a project journey, there might be milestones that drive invoicing or billing and things like that. And so I do want to kind of tee this back up to Rich to really talk about that specific integration and the ability to allow Salesforce to house data that influences all different parts of your business and utilizes Cloud Coach to house that.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Britta. I love to see the really smart user interface of Cloud Coach, and it's certainly the feedback that we've had from our customers, many of whom who've migrated from legacy systems for things such as time tracking and expense management. And they've said that the user interface of Cloud Coach is very powerful and saves a lot of time and is very intuitive as well. So thank you so much for the demo of the product. And I thought that just as Cloud Coach introduced themselves, I wanted to introduce for the first time Comnexa, because I know that many of the attendees today may not have met with us before. So Comnexa is a Salesforce consulting partner. It was founded in 2016. And our focus has been predominantly on B2B finance and professional services clients, although we do have clients in a huge variety of other industries as well, including telecommunications and not-for-profits as well. Our team is predominantly split into two separate teams: the professional services team, PS, and customer success, CS teams. Traditionally, when we run a project, especially in partnership with Cloud Coach, it will be our professional services team that delivers the project. They will hold a number of scoping calls, gather requirements, deliver the project, and then test and help with adoption by users as well. Where customer success, which is my team, fits in, is we try to help our existing clients to continue to leverage Salesforce and the latest releases from Cloud Coach as well, to continue enhancing and improving the use of Salesforce and to increase user adoption as well. As I think we've mentioned, we've conducted several Cloud Coach implementations for a variety of businesses. In this slide also, I just noted the feedback that you'll see for any Salesforce consulting partner in the app exchange of Salesforce. It shows the number of projects that we've completed and our 4.9 out of 5 rating, which is feedback from our valued customers, which is assessed by Salesforce themselves. On the next slide, we have some detail of our many of our clients who we've worked with, and a really nice testimonial from London and Capital, who we've worked with a lot in the last year. You'll also see at the top of the screen, at the top right, there's a logo noting that we are a financial services cloud accredited consulting partner. We were one of the first Salesforce partners in the UK to receive that accreditation, which notes that our staff and consultants are trained to deliver financial services cloud. On the next slide, we look at the different solutions that we at Connexa can offer. There are many that we can offer, but I've just picked out a few that I think might be most relevant to those attending today. They include client onboarding and integrating with other apps and solutions such as Conga for document management and signature, and Risk Screen for KYC checks. KYC and due diligence itself, project management and PSA solutions, which is really where Cloud Coach is leading the way, and where Cloud Coach is our app of choice in that market and for that solution. And then looking at Pardot and marketing cloud solutions as well. So looking at what products can help our customers with marketing automation. Moving on to look at the solutions more specific to Cloud Coach, we wanted to touch on one particular sort of specialism in today's call. And that's a solution that we've developed for one of our customers that we could deliver for any customer that has a similar need. And that is an integration between Salesforce and the installation of the Cloud Coach app, but also an integration with Sage for financial accounting. We've been using a middleware solution called Zinc, which can integrate with many other different tools, not just financial management tools such as Sage, but many other products as well. The solution that we've developed allows a user, allows an employee of your company to log time and expenses against a project. And in the back end of Salesforce, and with this integration with Sage, we know what ledger entry needs to be made in Sage, who should be billed. Our particular customer wanted this to be triggered monthly in quite a manual process, but this integration with Sage can also be run automatically as well. The relationship is bi-directional. So what we're seeing is your expenses and your time entries for a particular project, for a particular client in a month will all be inputted into Sage automatically for you as ledger entries. An invoice can be created automatically for you in Sage as well. And at the point of invoice creation, all of that information is then written back to Salesforce. And we've demonstrated some real valuable benefits with our customer on that too. If we look at the next slide, I'd love to outline some of those benefits. So with that integration between Salesforce and Sage, or any accounting system, with Cloud Coach as well, there's not the need for this manual creation or calculation of invoices, ledger entries, or calculations related to exchange rates as well. We've worked with a customer that uses multiple currencies in Salesforce, and this solution works very well and meets the needs of managing multiple currencies. What we've also been able to do is stamp records in Salesforce. So what we do is we capture the exchange rate of a particular time entry or expense in pounds on the day that the record is created. So let's say you're logging time or an expense against one of your euro or US dollar customers, but you want to report at the end of the year or end of the quarter in pounds. We capture that within our solution as well. What's been really helpful in this solution was that project managers can self-serve the finance information. So we've seen previously that Salesforce users were having to submit many requests to the finance team to ask, what is the status of payment of this invoice? You know, has my client or customer received the invoice? How much has been paid? Has it been part paid? Because of the relationship with Sage, all of this is written back to Salesforce, which is really encouraging the user to stay in Salesforce and for Salesforce to be your single source of truth, saving you time, not having to have lots of tabs open on your computer and having to jump between different platforms. We can also use Salesforce's inbuilt, very convenient approval process, which Cloud Coach is sort of related to as well, or you can develop your own more sort of custom approval process as well. So it's a very high level of a more specific solution that Connexa and Cloud Coach can offer. But I think that leaves us just now with a little time for any questions that have come through. And I think Beatrice may have a couple for us.
Yes, great presentation. So we have a couple questions that came in. So the first one, which Andy has replied to, but maybe we can expand a bit. So the question is, hello, is the project plan specific to particular requirements or is it more generic?
Yeah, and I think what we were getting at there is, and this is an advantage with Cloud Coach, is they can be different methodologies, different template types. Your work breakdown structure can define as per your requirements for your business. So that's where we get into those deals naturally during discovery. Partners like Comnexa can really help take what you might have living in different spreadsheets or frankly, maybe a notepad on your whiteboard and understand how that can be translated into a project Gantt or a common board. So we would work with you on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we can mold it to the needs of different companies. Another question that might be interesting for all. So how is Cloud Coach different if you compare it to any native Salesforce project management tools or any other project management tools? Yeah,
no, I mean, at this point, I would say we were the first project management solution native to the Salesforce platform back in around 2011, but that is not the case anymore. There's certainly a lot of tools out there. And how we differentiate is really, we try to approach scalability, usability, and standardization as our three tenets. And what that has allowed us to do is have a foundation where you can have multiple different project types, different methodologies worked into one solution, while still maintaining it in that cross-project navigation form that we demoed earlier. So that has been something that has been unique to us is, you know, we're not too niche where it's just onboarding. We also have a PSA. We're also evolving into customer success. A lot of our growth has been fueled not by necessarily targeting new industries and new verticals, but more so trying to expand the use case within really a customer success department. So from onboarding to additional managed service projects to the customer success engagement, we've been looking to expand on that, and that's become a differentiator for us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, Beatrice, I'd also just add on that, with that very particular solution that I just demonstrated with the integration with Sage, one of the things that we looked at with that customer was, could we use any inbuilt solutions or any solutions that the Salesforce product itself offers? And what we didn't want to do was create duplication of process where there was already quite a strong product that people were familiar with already. And in that Sage example, Sage was able to produce quite nice customer-facing proposals. So we sort of piggybacked on that. We used the best of what Sage could offer there, But what was really important was that the content of those invoices was written back to Salesforce, which is the solution that we built. But actually that was on the back of existing objects that come with the Cloud Coach package. So there's an invoice and there's an invoice line item object that comes with the Cloud Coach package. We've been able to relate that all together. So when you go and review your invoices at the end of a month, you can see the actual invoice and the invoice line items in Salesforce. And because of the sort of power of Salesforce and the ability to relate objects and records very easily, you can work all the way back down from the invoice to the invoice line item, down to your work and expense entry, but then sort of go all the way back up that chain quite easily as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then we have just one more question here. So I know we're talking about customer success just earlier that Cloud Coach is offering. So how does Cloud Coach and Connexa, what do they together offer to customers?
No, that's a great question. And I think Rich and I have talked about this too, where the idea that the journey of a customer is long-term, both with Connexa and Cloud Coach. So obviously we all know an implementation can take a lot of work and there's a lot of involvement along with go live support. On the Cloud Coach side, you would see your designated customer success manager, which will be with you for the lifetime of your account, as well as our dedicated technical support team. And then on the Comnexa side of it, Rich, do you want to speak more specifically to your customer success team, since that's your department?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's that sort of professional services team that will take you on the journey to deliver a Cloud Coach implementation and any other Salesforce support that you might need. We'll always provide some sort of post go live support to help with adoption and any final queries or very minor amends that only really come out through going live. So we recognize the need for that. And that's when a customer will be welcomed or introduced to me in customer success. And we can provide that sort of more long-term support. And there's a number of different sort of packages that we can offer of support, including a technical support package, where anything that's been configured by Comnexa, if there were to be any problems with that, we would resolve that for you. But we'll also provide other benefits too, such as informing you about the latest Salesforce releases and completing any checks of potential implications of those latest releases on your configuration. So we can provide that within that support package too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. I think that does it for questions, unless anyone wants to ask one last minute one.
I think we might have had one about what the sort of day-to-day might look like. So a little bit more information on the My Day side of Cloud Coach.
Yeah, happy to kind of show that as well. And this is one of those new features that we're really excited about for that end user. So you guys have certainly seen, that project plan and really understanding everything that might be happening within a project or any project you're assigned to. But we really have tried to create a space where anyone could come in and do, 90% of your day, whether it's, pulling up your side panel to understand what meetings you have going on, or seeing, okay, what's overdue, what's upcoming, and then, any quick action items like reminding yourself to call your mom as your own personal to-do list, as well as that schedule view too. So to understand, the lifespan of a task and say, oh, you guys recognize this side panel from earlier, I'm expected to spend 50 hours on this and it's due by Friday. I think I probably, need to get started. So giving you, a variety of ways to interact with and view anything that's kind of happening within your projects and what you're responsible for.
That's really awesome. And thanks, Brissa, for showing us that. I'm really excited by some of the user interface enhancements to My Day and how you're continuing to develop the product all the time. If we just flick to the last slide, Britta, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's attended today, and to remind everyone that you can find out more about the Cloud Coach app on the App Exchange, where you can also find Comnexa. So if you were to search for Salesforce App Exchange, you can then within that search for both Cloud Coach and Comnexa. You can find both organizations on LinkedIn, of course, and on our websites. And I've just put in a short URL there where you can find out more about the project with tranScrip, the Cloud Coach and Connexa project with tranScrip that we demonstrated in the video at the start of the presentation. So wishing you all a lovely afternoon or a great day ahead for the guys in America. And please do reach out to myself or Britta and Andy at Cloud Coach if you have any further questions. And if you would like to watch the presentation again or to share with any of your colleagues, it will be published on our website and on YouTube a little later today or first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you all for attending, and thank you very much, Britta, Beatrice, and Andy as well.
Our pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.